Churches, many of them facing financial problems. We're in tough economic times. People have less money in their pockets, Joe.
Right.
And many churches, like, as you know, like my church, Our Lady Star of the Sea,
yes,
are
what's going on with
delving
that, honey?
into anything they possibly can to try to bring in a few more bucks. And even though we're a surplus parish, one that brings in more money than it costs them to run the parish,
right.
Our Monsignor thought it was a good idea to put cell phone antennas on the roof, and I would have much rather if he put some Botox in his face than put cell phone antennas on top of our kids' heads in our little two-story building. Things are starting to heat up. The Archdiocese is saying that they might be able to do something possibly in another week or two. The parents are getting frantic.
That wasn't good enough for you.
The other night there was a hearing with some of the parents to get some info out there. The county clerk, Stephen Fiala, took the message to the masses and said, let's talk about it, let's get the facts out there.
Well, what is it? Does the school get money from what carrier is it? Do you not want to say
apparently Sprint is the carrier.
Sprint is the culprit.
You would think it would be thousands upon thousands to endanger the children, but we're getting a measly $1,400 a month.
A month.
And Assemblyman Louis Tabacco is taking up the cause at the state level, and he's joined up with New York City Councilman Vincent Ignazio, and they're double teaming it. They're asking the FCC to do some checks.
Now, did the FCC check it yet?
This has not been checked at all. We brought in, supposedly, we were told an independent study was done, but then we found out later that the study that was done that said it was safe was paid for by Sprint, so that doesn't make it.
Okay, so they have their own guys.
Some parents are going wild. Easter break starts tomorrow, thankfully, for Monsignor Jeff, but there was a big hearing the other night. People were going crazy. Mayhem is breaking out. And
you had to be in the center of it all.
Some of the parents asked me to get up and speak.
Sure, because you're a good speaker. You're a good speaker.
I guess they think I'm a good advocate, and they know that I've spoken out against the church before, so I guess if somebody's got to go to hell, let's just make it one guy, I guess. And it's Johnny T. He's our guy. And the other night, things got heated. Monsignor Jeff was definitely on the hot seat. And here's some video from the hearing the other night at Our Lady Star of the Sea Church.
With respect to this school's problem, you've got an immediate issue.
Councilman Ignazio and I today petitioned the FCC directly, and we were in direct contact with commissioners over at the FCC, both verbally and in a copy of a letter that you've received. I believe it is better to be safe than sorry. Everybody has the same information, we're all dealing from the same play card, and then ultimately people can make the decisions whether they believe it's safe for their kids, not somebody else behind closed doors.
Day of judgment, God is calling. Underneath the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings.
We have nothing to show this.
Children are at much higher risk than adults of experiencing health problems related to regular exposure to radio frequency radiation.
Children living near 3 TV cell phone towers in Sydney had more than twice the rate of leukemia.
But there are people who are sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies. A lot of people think it's a good idea, and I get from human to you, no. So can you maybe explain to us the reasons why no?
We'll just we'll put the tax on the school parents. Why should we? Would be 400 to 450 families somewhere in that area. Would be 1,000 to 1,200 each.
What? You just said it was $500.
Right here in front of everybody, $1,000 tonight. So if you're moving the antennas up on the roof, $1,000, right? If everybody wants to join in, we can take the antennas down next week. Then it's going to have to come from the school parents. We can't pay for it.
You can pay for it. You don't want it.
Then it's going to have to come from
Let's go fast.
It's not going to.
My name is Dave Brown. I am the Director of Real Estate for the Archdiocese. It's always better
Take it from the
if the cost is paid for by somebody else.
Let's go fast. Let's go fast. Let's go fast. Let's go fast.
It's not going to.
I think he has an obligation to check with his parish before making major decisions that affect the health of their children.
Only if it was something very serious.
Just so the borough president's office understands, is there one single contingent that wants Monsignor Conway to take the antennas off of the Our Lady Star of the Sea Church at school? Are there any? These are some of the economics 101 lessons that I think it really boils down to. The Archdiocese of New York brought in $3.4 billion last year. The Roman Catholic Church brought in $150 billion in the United States. $615 million was spent to defend lawsuits. Worldwide grossed $422 billion last year. $500 billion. It's about half the money we owe China right now. We're not clear. Did you make a bad business decision?
1,680 a month, is that correct, Dave? Yep. Yeah,
That's permissible exposure, 2.5%. Sounds low, but with our kids, I think it should be 0. And the British, who are pretty smart sometimes, discovered that cell phone transmissions alone disrupt brain size and memory and learning, cause forgetfulness and confusion in children. Our own Department of Energy says cell phone waves impair your memory and your reaction time. Nobel Prize winner Roger Cargo, a biologist, found that cell phone transmission waves damage the ability of white blood cells to ward off infectious disease, but disrupting the immune system's electromagnetic communication skills. All of these incidents are exacerbated in children, and the London Times sponsored a study that says children are more vulnerable because of their developing nervous systems, and they have a greater absorption of energy in the tissues of their head. I think, based on the fact that the Archdiocese and the Roman Catholic Church has seemingly got pretty good at hiring defense attorneys, why not, if it's $1,600, why not get one of the local friendly contractors in the school? Ask them to go back there with a sawzall and cut down on the antenna. And then we will finally have a cause that we will support the church to defend themselves against when Spring starts to sue us. So let them sue us, and we will be down in 4 or 5 years. Individually, if you care about your parishioners, and authorize someone to take the antenna down and deal with the lawsuits and the fallout later.
Wow.
Well, I put on the sunblock 5000 for my
Johnny
trip
Wayne
directly to
Tabacco.
hell.